Hey guys, HDV here, and welcome back to another Pokémon Sun and Moon video. S.O.S battles are a new feature introduced in Pokémon Sun and Moon where wild Pokémon will call for help. This is most notably seen during the totem battles in the island trials, but they also happen in standard wild encounters. As a Pokémon gets lower and lower in health, they will often call for help. This will bring another Pokémon into the battle, causing it to become a double battle against your single Pokémon. While this can be frustrating, S.O.S battles come with certain benefits when you carry the battle on. The even better thing about S.O.S battles is that they don't necessarily call the same Pokémon. In the encounter listings, there are up to 8 different rows of Pokémon, and when a Pokémon calls for help, it will select a random encounter row and give you a Pokémon of the same slot on that row as the Pokémon you are facing. However, some ally Pokémon are much harder to find than others, and so with that being said, today's video takes a look at the 5 hardest ally Pokémon to obtain in Pokémon Sun and Moon. Of course, this is all my own opinion, and if you believe you know of any other rare ally Pokémon in Sun and Moon than the ones featured in the video, then please leave them in the comment section below after watching. I'd love to know what some of you guys have come across. With introductions out of the way though, let's get into the video, and I really hope that you enjoy. Starting things off and claiming the number 5 spot in today's video is Castform. Castform is a unique Pokémon that can change forms and type depending on the weather on the battlefield. These types include fire, water and ice, reacting to sun, rain and hail. Catching a Castform in Pokémon Sun and Moon however is quite difficult, seeing as it only appears when called by another Pokémon during some form of weather on the battlefield. These locations consist of Route 17, Executor Island, Haina Desert, Lush Jungle, Melee Garden, Mount Lenakila and Tapu Village. Once you find a Pokémon in one of these locations and there is also some form of weather, there is a chance for Castform to appear. Now some players have found a wild Castform straight away, whereas with some trainers it has taken hours for one of these little guys to appear, so it is really all down to luck at the end of the day. However, if you want to complete your Pokédex in order to get that shiny charm, Castform is one of the Pokémon that you're going to have to eventually catch, regardless of how time consuming it is. For these reasons, Castform takes the number 5 spot in today's top 5 video. Coming in at the number 4 spot in today's top 5 video is Mourinho. Now, actually encountering a Mourinho in Pokémon Sun and Moon is pretty abnormal, seeing as you technically can't find one in the wild. In order to get this Pokémon, there are a few steps that you have to complete. Firstly, you need the Lapras Ride Pager and Fishing Rod. To obtain both of these, you must first get to the second trial in the game on Akela Island. Once there, Lana will gift them both to you. After this, head to the Professor's house on Route 1. Head to the ocean on the right with Lapras and surf to the Melee Sea. Go back and forth until a fishing spot with a small collection of rocks under the water is bubbling and rippling, and then press A to fish. Be sure to approach the rippling fishing spot slowly or else it will stop rippling. Press A again whenever the line starts shaking. Keep doing this until you come across a Corsola, seeing as the only way to encounter Mourinho is by Corsola calling for one. Lower Corsola's health until it's red. Be careful though, if you knock it out you have to repeat the previous steps. Lowering Corsola's health into red will cause it to call for help. If Corsola uses a healing move instead, keep the health low. There is only a 20% chance it will spawn a Mourinho, so be patient. Eventually, if you keep Corsola's health low and attack and knock out all the Corsola it summons, you'll get a Mourinho. Still though, a pretty difficult ally Pokémon to obtain, and so takes the number 4 spot in today's top 5 video. Coming in at the halfway point in today's top 5 video is Lucario. Lucario is a bipedal canine-like Pokémon, with fur that is predominantly blue and black. It possesses a short, round spike on the back of each forepaw, in addition to a third on its chest. It has a long snout and ears. To obtain a Lucario in Pokémon Sun and Pokémon Moon, you must first encounter a Riolu, who has a 10% encounter rate at Pony Grove, which can be annoying already if luck isn't on your side. After this, start S.O.S chaining and hopefully a Lucario will eventually appear. The very annoying part about this Pokémon though, is that in Riolo's move pool is the move Final Gambit. If you're unfamiliar with this move, Final Gambit causes the user to faint, and the target receives damage equal to how much HP the user lost. This is super annoying if you're trying to chain this Pokémon because, well, you need it to not faint seeing as it needs to be alive to be able to call a Lucario to the battle. Because of this Pokémon's pretty low encounter rate and the fact that it likes to make itself faint a lot, Riolu and Lucario take the number 3 spot in today's top 5 video. Claiming the number 2 spot in today's top 5 video is Dragonite. Dragonite is a draconic bipedal Pokemon with light orange skin. It has large greyish green eyes and a round snout with small nostrils. A pair of long, thin antennae sprout from the top of its head with a small horn set between them. Its striated underbelly is cream coloured and extends from its neck to the tip of its long, tapering tail. In order to come across a Dragonite when S.O.S chaining in Pokémon Sun and Pokémon Moon, you first have to come across a Dratini at the Pony Gauntlet. The really annoying thing about this encounter though is that Dratini only has a 1% chance to appear, meaning that you could be fishing for hours if luck isn't on your side. When a Dratini does eventually appear, you then have to wait for it to S.O.S call a Dragonite, whose encounter rate is also incredibly low, meaning that you could be chaining this Pokemon for hours without even getting anywhere. Because of all of these reasons, Dragonite takes the number 2 spot in today's top 5 video. Coming in at the number 1 spot in today's top 5 video is Salamence. To start things off, head to Route 3 on Melee Island. Cross the bridge to the Pracho grass on the right. There's a 1% encounter chance to find a Bagon here, and wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what we need. So we're already off to a good start at wasting your time. Be prepared to put some serious time in. Now, why are we talking about Bagon when we're here to find a Salamence? Well, you can also find a low-level Salamence on Route 3 by Bagon calling for help using the new S.O.S method introduced in Pokémon Sun and Pokémon Moon. However, it only has a 1% chance to appear after finding your 1% chance Bagon encounter. That means that you have to find a 1% Bagon and then a 1% Salamence straight after. To make this whole process quicker, relatively speaking, be sure to use a Pokemon with the move False Swipe. For those new to this series, False Swipe is an attack that leaves the target with at least 1 HP. Fingers crossed, the Bagon will call for help. Usually another Bagon will show up. If this is the case, knock out the first one and repeat the process again until the new Bagon calls for help. Bear in mind you can only use 1 Adrenaline Orb per battle. This is actually pretty helpful if you need to skip a turn while waiting for the Bagon to call for help. You can't consume the item, so it won't go to waste, but you'll have used a turn, so it works out perfectly. Eventually, a low-leveled Salamence will come to the aid of the Bagon. This could easily take hours though, so that's fun to look forward to. However, having a Salamence this early on in the game is always something worthy to brag about. One thing is for certain though, Game Freak really like wasting your time in the new games. For all of these reasons, Salamence takes the number 1 spot in today's video. But with that, wraps up this video. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. If you did enjoy the video though, please leave a like, I'd really appreciate it. Like I said at the start of the video, I would also love to hear your guys' opinions too on this subject, so be sure to leave them in the comment section below. I have a couple top 5s coming onto your screen in a second, so be sure to give them a watch if you have the time, and also subscribe if you like my content. That's everything from me though, so thanks for watching guys, have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video.